Peace, love, Goldn.Light. Today is Thursday, and y'all know on Thursdays I share my response to the journal prompt for the Write It Down series. So this week the focus or theme has been about being like children and taking some time to reflect and see the lessons that children can teach you about life. So this is my response.
You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, we about to write it down. You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, write it down.
So this was a fun journal prompt for me in a way because I have a very childish, childlike nature within myself. But a lot of times, I can get disconnected from like the simplicity that children can teach you, right? So I took myself back where I remember watching children play and interact with each other. And a lot of times in those spaces, children are not afraid of judgment. Children are not afraid of taking risks. They will use their imagination, and it will be like the smallest things that will excite them, right? So like I said, it's easy for us to disconnect from our inner child, disconnect from some of the things children can teach us because we get older, we know more things about life, we have so many other experiences, and it's just so easy to detach from that, right? So one of the things that children remind me to be is to be present. Children will be all in the moment, no worries of the next day, and of course they're not worrying about no bills, right? But the simplicity of just being in the moment, right? And how important it is to be present. And they can be in one moment and it will be over, and then they'll move to the next moment. So children really remind me to be present. They can enjoy the small things. Their imagination allows them to take the simple things in life and expand it into something they view as grand. You know what I'm saying? You ever see children and they be like, look at this, and they just be full of excitement, and we be like, okay, yeah, it's a ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a big deal. But it's just that reminder to appreciate everything that you have, to be in the moment. And it's your perspective that allows you to see something as great. You know what I'm saying? So children remind me to take the small things in life and appreciate them to be bigger things, right? Sometimes it's the adult in me, the things I know that most children are naive to, but children remind me to create the balance of work and play. My inner child loves to create. I love to create, but the adult me still has responsibilities. So one thing that I try to do to create that balance is allowing myself to create a structure or a system to get things done, but it doesn't stifle my inner child, right? Because my inner child loves to play, loves to create, is not worried about work, is not worried about bills, you know what I'm saying? And I can't fully always stay in that space because I do have to take care of responsibilities, but I can create the balance to do and be both. Another thing that children remind me and teach me about life is to try new things. Children are very spontaneous, right? They will just be like, oh, I want to go do this. Oh, I want to go do that. And it is sometimes attached to their imagination, but they're not really that afraid a lot of times to try new things, right? So sometimes us as adults, we weigh all these calculations that sometimes stops us from doing new things and trying new things, right? So that's something to remember about children. They gonna be down to try some new things. Children, especially like my nephews, they're outspoken, so they will speak up. Children remind me to speak up for what you want, for what you need, right? For what you like, for what you don't like. You know, the children, like, you can't tell them anything. They're gonna tell you what it is. I love that about children because it reminds me to have that. So whether it's in a workplace situation, a relationship, or whatever the case may be, speak up for the things that you want, the things that you need. Another thing is asking for help. Of course, children can't do everything, so it's easy for them a lot of times to ask their parents for help, but it's the simplicity of that, meaning that just ask for help. A lot of times I can take on so much and it's just like, I'm just gonna get it done. But it reminds me to use my resources, to speak up and ask people, hey, can you help me with this, right? They can say no, that's cool. But the point is not being afraid to ask for help. So these are some of the things that children remind me, and teach me about life. And it's so easy, like I said, to get disconnected from these things. But these are great reminders to have. And don't stop allowing children to teach you just because they are children, right? They are magical in so many different ways, and they teach us so many valuable lessons that we can take on in our life as adults. So that is my general response for this week. For this prompt on Sunday, I will have a brand new prompt to keep the Write It Down series going. If you would like to share your response, you can post it and tag me, or just leave it in a comment of one of the lessons that children teach you. That's all I have for right now until Sunday for the new prompt. Peace and love, my sugar babies.
You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, we about to write it down. You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, write it down.